Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, from here we generated one of the ID, and also after that I insert all that our user table data, right? So here I have created one of the user object, and then I insert all the data in our user table. So for right now, I want to insert our another table. I want to insert data in our assign student table. So for the assign student table, in our student registration, into the student registration, there have some of the field. There's the year, there is our class, there is a group, and there is a shift, right? So that is the four field. Actually, this data will be inserted in our this table. There is a assign student table. So if you want to insert this data, first of all, I have to create one of the object. So it should be just like that same. I copy it, and after that there is our save, and after that I want to use it. Okay, better I put some of the gap for you. So I take one of the variable and I just name it as a assign student, assign underscore student. Okay, that will be as a assign student. And then our object, we have to do our model. So for our assign student, I have already take this model. So our model name as a assign student, right? So now I copy it. That will be our assign student. So with this model I create one of the object, and after that I want to insert this data. So with this assign student, right? So before I have used that our user, and then I use all the data with this user, and now I want to add this. That means with this assign student, first of all I want to added our field as a student ID. I copy it. Okay, that is our student ID. So this student ID will be what? This student ID will be our this user table ID, right? So now with this user I want to access our user ID. So here I just simply use it, that is user ID. Okay, so I hope it's very much clear to you. So into the assign student, our this student ID will be one of the foreign key of our this user table ID. Okay, so I just simply add it, and after that our rest of this we have to add. Better I copy it and then I paste it. So with this assign student, our another field as a year ID, class ID, I copy that year ID. Okay, I copy that year ID. Year ID will be our requested year ID. That means that is our request. So requested our field. If you go to our add, so from here now I have to add all the data, date of birth, religion, gender. You can see that is actually our year. So that is our year ID, right? So now I copy it. So that will be our requested field as year ID. Perfect. And then also after that there is our another field as a year, class, and the group, right? So now I want to take it another one as a class. That means a class ID or database field name. So this portion is actually our database part. So that is our class ID will be our requested ID. Requested one I have used it as a class ID. That will be as a class ID. And then our group, that is our group ID. I copy it. That will be the group ID, and group ID will be our requested one. That means a requested table field ID as a group ID, right? That will be as a group ID. Perfect. And also after that there is another one as a shift, right? So shift is also on here as a shift underscore ID. I copy it. Now I think everything is very much clear to you what exactly the things I did on here. Before I insert all that our from student registration data in our user table, now I want to insert all the data in our assign student table, right? So there is a shift ID, and then our requested field also as the same as the shift ID, right? So now I simply updated, that will be as a shift ID. Perfect. And after that with this assign student I want to insert this data. So with this assign student I want to save this data. So that will be as a save. Perfect. Okay friend, so that's all. So now after that also there is a rest of another one. The other table is the discount table, student table, right? So to the discount student table, that is will be our assign student table will be one of the foreign key of our this assign student ID. So this ID, right? So I want to do, first of all, that purpose will be same. That I copy it. After this save I put another gap, and then I name it as a discount student. Okay, discount underscore student. And then I want to create one of the object for this. I have already added this model. You can see that is our discount student model, right? So now I want to do to insert this data on here. That will be as a discount student and into the discount student. So with this discount, better I copy it. With this discount, first of all, our field name, if you go there, that is our assign student ID, right? So I copy it. So that's the assign student ID. So this ID will be what? This ID will be our this table, right? So with this assign student ID. So now I simply add it. That will be with this. That will be with this. I want to access our ID. Okay, that means the assign table ID. So before that is actually connected with our user, so I use it as a foreign key as a user ID, and now that is actually connected with our assign student, because that is everything actually interconnected, right friend? So for the reasons here, our this ID will be this one, and after this better I copy it. After this also there are another field we have to add. So with this I want to add another field as a free category ID. And for the user registration, actually what? If you go to our free category, I show you, there is a free category, right? If you open it, into the free category table, there is a name as a registration fee, right? There is a registration fee, there is a monthly fee and the exam fee. So here I only want to add this registration fee. So this registration fee ID as a 1, right? Because of all that will be our student registration, so that will be as a registration fee. So I want to take this name as a free category. So that will be our free category ID. So this free category ID, that means this one, it will be one of the foreign key of this table, and I want to insert only one value. Okay, that means here it will be inserted as one value for registration fee. Perfect. So that's all. So right now I close it. I hope it is very much clear to you. So our field name is as a free category ID. So into the free category ID here, I want to insert one value only. I want to insert that value 1. Okay, and also make that sure that will be into the single quote. So that is one value will be inserted in our database, this table field. Okay, that is our free category ID. And then there is our another field will be same. I copy it and paste it. So with this discount student, I want to add that our discount table field. I copy it, and then that will be as a discount table, and here it will be our requested one, our request. I copy, and that will be the request. Our request, if you go to our add student, into the add student discount, or exactly the discount here, and you can see there is a discount. So our requested field name as a discount, right? So from here it will be inserted this data. So with this request, that is our discount. Perfect. And then I want to save this data. Okay, so with this discount, I want to save this data. Okay friend, perfect. So that's all we have to do. So right now actually there are the three table. One is our user, so it will be save that user data, it will be save our assign student all that field data, and it will be save all that our discount field data. Okay, so that is actually the 3-1. I hope it's very much clear to you what exactly the things I did on here. It will be generated some of the ID, save this data in our user. Perfect. And then there is our another one as a assigned student, that is our discount. Okay, and after that, when it will be save all the data, if you want to display one of the notification, you can also use that toaster. We did this work a lot of the time. If you go to that profile, the profile controller here, there is actually the notification, right? I copy it after that save. So right now we don't need this. After that save here, I want to use it. Okay, and that is our AND method. The notification will be display as a student registration successfully. Student registration inserted successfully. Okay, this type of one of the message, and our type will be as a alert type as a success, and after that it should be returned redirect to our view page. Into the view, I have already created that view page as a student registration view. I copy it, that will be returned redirect to our particular this page. Okay, so friend, that's all. Okay, that's all we have to do. So if everything okay, it should be work. So that is actually so much long one of the form here I inserted. So if everything okay, it should be inserted this data. Rather than if you get any error, don't worry about it. That is pretty much common. Okay, I will solve it. Now click on the save all, and now let's check this out. So now it should be inserted all the data in our that is a discount status. Here it should be inserted. It should be inserted all the data in our assigned student, and also it should be inserted some of the data in our user. Okay, now let's check this out. If you now click as a refresh, now I name it as a Ali. Okay, Ali Khan. So this type of the name, I put that father name as a Abu Khan and Ma Khan. Okay, and then I put some of the phone number. I put that address as India or whatever you choose, and gender I make it as a male. I put the religion as Islam. I put that date. So I want to use it as a 2016 January 7. Okay, I use this type of one of the date, and I just put on the discount for this specific student as a 0 or 5. Okay, I make it as a 5 and put that year. So with this year, automatically it will be generated one of the ID, right? So I select it as a 2020 class 1. I put the group as a science. Okay, and then I shift it as a shift A. Okay, that means the morning shift or the day shift, whatever you choose. So I make it as a shift A, and then I choose one of the profile image. For now I choose this one. Okay, so this image should be in loaded in our upload folder here, right? So into the upload folder I have already created one of the student images. Here it should be inserted. So friend, if everything okay, it should be insert. Okay, now let's check this out. If you now click on the submit, we get error. So don't worry about it. As I told you, it's very much common. We have to solve it. To call undefined method, database, MySQL connection, transaction. You can see spelling mistake. Now go there. So you can see the spelling mistake. Actually, it's not this one. That will be the TRANSCACTI1. Transaction. Okay. Transaction function use. That is our first error. Don't worry. And now click on the save all. Make that sure your spelling is correct, and now go back. I want to insert it again, and now I want to refresh it again, and now again I make it as Ali. Okay, Ali Khan, and Abu Khan, Ma Khan, and then put some of the phone number. I put as India, and the gender as a male, and then religion Islam, date of birth I want to select it as a 17 January. Okay, that is actually some of the date. I put as a discount as a 5%, year as a 2020 class 1, group as a science, shift as a choose one of the profile images. Right now I want to choose this one. Also I have to check it, our previous one is saved or not. No, there have no data is saved. So now I select this one. Okay, or rather than this one, open it. So I open it. If everything okay, again I check it, click as a submit. Wow, yes, you can see I only get one error. Wow, that's really great. So here you can see it's student registration inserted successfully. Now you can see it's now perfectly getting that our name and then ID. Okay friends, great. So now let's check this out. Our every data is perfectly inserted or not. Yes, our image is successfully inserted. Right now if you go to that user, click as a browse. Yeah, there is a new one. You can see it's now user type as a students, right? So I have already passed this data. So now I explain you again. You can see our user type as I put it, right? So for the reasons here I name that as our user type will be inserted when this user will be registration as a student. Okay, when you actually add that employer, then we'll add it, insert this data as a employer, and then we'll put this type of another condition. So right now that is our student, and where I just simply pass it. So that is our capital student. You can see it's now successfully add that data, and name is inserted, and here I didn't add any email for the reasons you can see I make it as a nullable, so null. And there is a password is also generated, the mobile number is inserted, address is inserted, gender, there's a gender is inserted, and there is a images. So here image is not inserted directly. Okay, I will check it, There is a first name, the last name, that is our religion, that is an, you can see automatically now friend, that is the things I am actually looking at. Automatically it's now created one of the generated ID. You can see I have selected as a year type as a 2020, and automatically after that year type it's adding that as a 30, and then started with the 1, right? So that is the condition I applied it on here. So first of all it will be check it, and when it will be the first time, then first of all it will be check our year. So that is our year field name it will be get, and after that it will be add when it will be a 0, that means less than the 10, automatically 30 will be added, and then it will be added as a +1. Okay, so you can see it's now started with the perfect. So that is our automatically this ID number is generated, right? And also automatically it's generated our password for the code. So I have already discussed about that things with you. You can see there is a code as a random one of the code is generated, and with this code is now perfectly inserted this data into the Bitrip in our code area. Okay, that will be actually our user, that means the student, one of the password code, right? And there is a role. I didn't have any select any role, so for the reason it's actually totally null, and status is active, right? Perfect. That means here it's inserted all the data perfectly. And now go to our assign table, click as a browse. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly inside this data. There is ID, there is ID 1, there is student ID 4. As I told you friend, it's I have already put this condition. You can say I have already put this condition as a assign student new, and then our student ID will be our user ID. So if you now go to our user ID, into the user ID you can see there is a 4 ID. So this 4 ID is in our student ID as a 4. Okay friend, that means it's appropriately done, and class ID, year ID, a group ID, shift ID, everything is perfectly inserted. And if you go to our another table as a discount student, now click as a browse. Yeah, it's perfect. That is our ID and assign student ID. So this assign student ID, as I told you, it will be as a this assign student ID will be our this assign student ID, right? So right now here there is our ID number is 1. So this ID, that means assign student ID in our discount table, that is actually 1. You can see it's now showing as a assign student ID as a 1. And then also inserted as a free category as a 1, that will be as a registration fee, and then that is our discount as a 5. Perfect. That means everything is now perfectly working. Only they have the one issue. One issue is they're actually not inserted this data in our image, right? Into the image it's not inserted. Why? Maybe I did something wrong. That is in our user, into the user, that is actually our images, right? So to the images, that is our field. You can see I use that as a data. So right now that should be obviously our image field. If you want to access, you have to access it with this user, right? So I did this wrong. So that will be as a user and then image. Okay, so that is the actually problem. Now if you click as a save all, I click as a save all. Now to insert another one, and insert another one, that is clearly. So now I want to do and to click another one, click the refresh. Now it should be inserted. Now click the add student. So now I want to add another one as a Kazi. Okay, I name it as a Kazi, and then as a Kazi Ajak, and then I make it as a Kazi Laila Begum. Okay, I name it as a mobile, put some of the phone number, put one of the email address as a USA, or not the USA, it should be obviously India. And then I put the gender as a male, I put the religion as Islam, I put as a name. Okay, I name it as a, I just put the date of birth, so that will be the date of birth. Put the discount as a 10%. I put that name as a, now you choose as a 2021. Okay, let's check this out. If you now click as a class 2, I selected group as a science, I select the shift as a B shift. Okay, I choose that as a B shift. Now click as a profile, choose on the profile image as a this one. Okay, open it. So now image is visible. So now I click on the submit. Yeah, our data is now successfully submitted. Now I want to check it. First of all, I want to check that folder. Yeah, its data is inserted. So now it should be work. Now I just click as a refresh. That is the student, Kazi, mail number, they have no mail number. Yes, you can see now our image is successfully inserted. Okay, So now our image is successfully inserted, our fame, father name, mother name, Islam, and also is generated. You can see now it's generated as a 2021. Okay, and after that generated, it's created as a 5, that is another one, and then there is our 16, and also is generated one of the code. So there is actually one of the another code as a 2371, and there is a role. I didn't add that any role, and then everything is great. So now if you go there, click as a refresh it again, so everything is now perfect. So that is actually another one. Okay, so friend, here I want to add I want to get all that are group by data, and also here I want to add one of the search button. So with this we will actually search all that are student. Okay, so how can do that work better? I want to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.